You're welcome to Green Nigeria.
Timex Production.
Yeah. Welcome to Green Nigeria. My name is Meshach Yager. And we're still right here.
Okay, you're welcome to your number one tourism and agricultural program on radio. It's Green Nigeria Radio Show, and of course, this is the YouTube channel where you can get all the stuff you've been getting on radio and other social media handles. And if you want to continue having updates on our channel, you can of course subscribe to Green Nigeria Radio Show on YouTube and on Facebook. Okay, so today we'll be talking about this very prevailing problem for quite some time now, the issue of fertilizers. Okay, and I have a write-up here, a columnist who actually gave Green Nigeria Radio an exclusive write-up talking about organic fertilizers, an exclusive write-up on organic fertilizers. Why are we so engrossed in the use of chemical fertilizers? You know, you recall that recently Nigerian products were sent back to Nigeria because the products were infested with a high rate of pesticides and fertilizers. Today we'll be telling you more on organic fertilizer. And is organic fertilizer the only way, or is organic fertilizer the best way? So stay tuned as we find out. This is Green Nigeria Radio Show, and it's about tourism, agriculture, progress. My name is Meshach Yager.
You're welcome to Green Nigeria.
Hey, you're welcome back. This is Green Nigeria Radio Show, and of course, we are talking about fertilizers today. If you're just joining us, you've not missed quite anything, and we'll be telling you about fertilizer, organic fertilizer actually. And this write-up has been produced by Jenny Lusby, okay, the author of this write-up on fertilizer, organic fertilizer. And she says, just occasionally we all do something so illogical and costly that it becomes a conundrum that seems unsolvable. In understanding why we do it, a case in point is using fertilizer. Okay, the reality is that enriching our own soil is so easy, so cheap, and so much more effective than chemical fertilizer. Okay, that I, for one, cannot grasp why we don't just do it ourselves. She's trying to tell us that, she made me understand what organic fertilizer is actually, okay? And she went on to say the secret, and apparently it is some kind of secret despite creating some of the world's earliest flourishing civilizations thousands of years ago, is biochar, okay? It needs nothing except farm waste, old maize husk, stalks and leaves. Dried chicken droppings are a good addition, but any leaves, branches or organic rubbish, of course, and it requires only digging a trench, filling it loosely with the waste and lighting it up from the top so that it burns slowly and with very little smoke. Trying to describe the kind of fertilizer that is organic and that she recommends, talking about the biochar fertilizer. Now, she said after a few hours it is rendered into a pile of blackened char that is more powerful and long-lasting in lifting yields than any known chemical fertilizer. Okay, so I just gave you some tips here and there that you can go check out yourself. Talking about dry leaves, sticks, applying little of chicken droppings and maybe cow dung and the rest of it. Mix everything together, burn it, and don't burn it completely. Then, cover it with soil, leave it after some time to cool off, and mix everything together, and you have your organic fertilizer. And this is what has been used from time immemorial. Before technology, before chemical mixing and all manner of laboratory testing came about, there was food production, of course, and there was good yield. You remember in the 1950s, before fertilizer got into Nigeria, when agriculture was our mainstay, okay, we were exporters of food. You remember the granite pyramid in Kano and what have you. Now, what is happening? Even with fertilizers, we can't manage food production, number one. And even when we try to apply fertilizers, we apply it overboard. We apply it in a way that maybe we want more yield or something. And it's dangerous to the system, to our organs. And that's why elsewhere in the world where things are done rightly, you can't just bring in import something into the country and expect that regulations are not checking and doing their job. So when they check and they discover that the fertilizers are too much, they turn us down and it comes back into the country. And what do? We don't throw it off, we sell it to ourselves, killing ourselves slowly and steadily. What is the way forward? Now, finally, I will give you an advice from our writer. She says, either way, for any farmer, policymaker, development expert, or anyone at all who would like 5 times more harvest with increased disease resistance at almost no spending, just dig a small hole, make some biochar. It will be the most income generating, wealth creating hole you will ever dig. A half-day project that changes your family's fortunes for generations. Talking about our writer there, who would actually love to talk with, Jenny Lusby, okay, giving us a piece of advice there on how to go on organic, okay, for how to go organic and how to make profit from it, okay. She says, either way, for any farmer, policymaker, development expert, or anyone at all who would like 5 times more harvest with increased disease resistant. You remember that GMOs now have products that are pest resistant, disease resistant, but they are still chemicals. They are still things that are being brewed in the lab. Just like we heard some time ago how COVID-19 was all programmed from the lab, it's the same thing going on in food production. Okay, so the writer here is saying that if you want to go the right way, go the organic way, and she has given you tips and steps to go by. This is Green Nigeria Radio Show, and it has been about organic fertilizers. Stay tuned for more on the show.
Welcome to Green Nigeria. My name is Meshach Yager. Still right here.
And of course, you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Green Nigeria Radio Show on YouTube and on Facebook. Moving on to other news before we wrap it up. Let's tell you that AFDB begins disbursement of $550 million agro-industrial funds nationwide. Okay, AFDB, they've started distributing that fund. We don't have the clear news yet. We don't know where these funds are being distributed, but AFDB says they are doing that. Okay, let's trust that it will get to the right hands, the rural farmers who actually put their back into the work, okay, and have difficulties bringing these goods from the hinterlands, from the rural areas to the city center, where food can become affordable and cheap. Okay, I'm talking about FGN and IFAD. IFAD is International Fund for Agricultural Development. They have this program VCDP and the flag up dry season farming inputs distribution in Benue. Okay, IFAD and the federal government with the program VCDP, the flag up a dry season program. A dry season farming inputs distribution in Benue State. And we told you earlier in the course of talking about organic and pesticides and diseases that the Nigerian products have been rejected abroad over farmers' poor use of chemicals. Okay, and of course, a professor in University of Agriculture, Benue State, Makodi, has decried the use of pesticides and fertilizers, too much fertilizers in our food produce. Okay, now let's tell you something else, talking about blood sugar levels. Someone on the program last week asked a question that what measures, what ways can we use to lower our blood sugar and have a healthy diet and a healthy living. Okay, and of course it's our responsibility to give you authentic news and give you what news will help you even develop health wise. That's why we are kicking against too much fertilizers in food produce, and we're kicking against dangerous pests. Okay, now talking about, can a daily dose of cinnamon help lower blood sugar? You know, cinnamon, we'll show you the picture. Cinnamons has been found to possess anti-inflammatory properties which can contribute to its positive effects on blood sugar. Okay. It will also interest you to know that cinnamon has been used as a condiment, anointing oil, and therapeutic for the longest time in history. Ancient Egyptians used it for the flavoring and aroma, and Romans used it to heal respiratory and stomach conditions. Talking about cinnamons. So in case you don't know, and in case you've not heard it before, don't forget where you heard it. You heard it on Green Nigeria Radio Show. Talking about cinnamons helping reduce blood sugar. Okay. Now, it will also interest you to know that the health advantages of cinnamon have been thoroughly studied in more recent times. According to studies, the spice may have antibacterial, anti-diabetic, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and even anti-cancer properties. Okay? Researchers have discovered that taking supplements containing cinnamon may help lower blood glucose, sugar levels in those who are obese, overweight, or pre-diabetic. That's how much we can tell you about cinnamon for today on Green Nigeria Radio Show.
You're welcome to Green Nigeria.
Yeah. Welcome to Green Nigeria. My name is